Julia Roberts was Hollywood's highest-paid actress. Her last huge hit was over a decade ago, but she made $20 million for one movie. Recent flicks are a failure by her standards. She had to join Netflix to get work. Her rare blood condition, which might kill her at any time, has plagued her since 2002. Hollywood doesn't know what to do with her at 56. Her golden age is over. In Smyrna, Georgia, Julia Roberts was born on October 28, 1967. Her narrative began differently than most. Her family made history before she entered a movie set. Her parents established the Atlanta Actors and Writers Workshop, one of the first Southern acting schools to accept black and white students during segregation. Yolanda King, daughter of Martin Luther King Jr., joined their program in 1965. That brave choice was risky. Neighborhood residents threatened them. Though they lost community backing, they persisted. They taught acting in an old church to fight racism. Julia was too young to grasp this, yet that setting shaped her worldview. Julia was born at Crawford Long Hospital to poor parents. The hospital bill was $1,286, a lot then. They couldn't pay, but then something amazing happened. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King quietly paid the bill. They did it to thank Julia's parents for their aid. They never disclosed it. Julia told that anecdote at 55 in 2022. She stated Coretta visited the hospital on November 2, 1967, to verify payment. A few months later, Martin Luther King Jr. was killed. The relationship between civil rights leaders and a future Hollywood star was kept private for decades. Julia's youth was troubled. Before her fourth birthday in 1971, her parents split. Her mother attributed it to mental abuse. Her father said she left the family. Court battles lasted months. Within a year, Julia's mother married Michael Moats. He was unlike her dad. He was temperful. He worked in factories and moved the family to cheaper housing. Sometimes they had to move months later. Julia, Eric, and Lisa always walked on eggshells. Julia isolated herself at school. Teachers observed she missed courses and seemed scared. Her stutter lasted until she was 9. Though speech therapy helped, acting did more. It gave her a voice when she felt voiceless. In 1978, catastrophe struck. Walter, Julia's father, died of throat cancer. Only 10 she was. He concealed his ailment to protect her, but mourning was severe. Julia stopped talking, unable to sleep. Her grades fell. Her father, her refuge, was gone. Leaving her cassette CDs of bedtime stories, he taped before his death. She listened to them every night until they were worn out at 13. The death of her father left a gaping hole. That anguish was dealt with through acting, expressing what she couldn't say in real life. Meanwhile, home life worsened. Her mom's marriage to Moat was failing. Police visited their home several times. Her siblings left quickly. Julia stayed. In 1976, her half-sister Nancy was born. Years later, Nancy committed suicide due to addiction. In 2014, Julia's mother left Moats after 9 years. According to her 1981 divorce petition, the marriage was abusive. After that, she focused on recovery. She founded an acting school and volunteered at a shelter. Julia was 14 and becoming stronger despite her wounds. Julia became more ambitious, and her mother became intensely protective. In high school, Julia wanted to be a vet. She loved animals and was strong at biology, but she gravitated toward performance. She played the clarinet, acted in school plays, and collapsed during a frog dissection before becoming the lead in a play the same day. She wrote screenplays in science notebooks for hours after school. Her former vet said she didn't watch surgery at his facility. He observed the crowd. She was unknowingly practicing to be an actress. Julia left for New York City after graduating in 1985. She and her sister Lisa lived in a modest apartment with $628 saved. Quite cold. The heat went off. Sometimes they slept in coats. Julia walked for miles since she couldn't afford the metro. She had 3 or 4 auditions a day and ate poor meals. After 200 rejections, she got her first Clearasil commercial. That $825 paycheck altered everything. A SAG card allowed her access to real auditions. Julia's Georgia childhood ritual was odd. She practiced Oscar speeches in the bathroom since age 7. Her false awards were shampoo bottles or perfume jars. She taped her voice to examine it. Over 40 speeches were recorded in a leather journal. Although her family lost power and had to use candles, she kept practicing. She told her brother, "When I win the Oscar, I'll thank you third." She maintained her pledge after winning in 2001. Her debut acting role was on Crime Story in 1987. She wanted to go despite having the illness and a 103-degree fever. She shot the scene once. While everyone on set realized she was exceptional, things didn't change immediately. After endless auditions, she was cast in Firehouse and burned by special effects. She continued. She worked 16 hours non-stop. She sold her grandfather's pocket watch to pay rent when she was broke. After becoming famous, she bought it back 3 years later for approximately 8 times the amount. Julia, 19, met 35-year-old Liam Neeson in 1988 while filming Satisfaction. Initially, they clashed. Filming was delayed, then something changed. Within 3 weeks of dating, they moved in together. People in Hollywood disliked it. Julia lost a huge commercial deal over the connection. She was denied for a movie part because of it, but she didn't care. She gained new perspectives from Liam. He gave her 27 novels to read, similar to college. The romance ended, but it provided her the emotional depth she used in Steel Magnolias. She received her first Golden Globe and Oscar nomination. People didn't perceive the struggle behind the triumph. Roberts stayed up 47 hours to prepare for Shelby's diabetic seizure. Not some ridiculous stunt. Co-star Sally Field suggested it to help her get into character. Although successful, it pushed Roberts to the limit. She hid in her hotel room for 3 days, eating only saltine crackers and water during the dramatic funeral scene. She wanted to appear grieving like Shelby. Herbert Ross, the director, made matters harder. After a difficult take on January 17, 1989, he raged at her, calling it the worst acting he had ever seen. Roberts was so devastated that she fled the stage for 6 hours. Although part of an ensemble group, Roberts only appeared for 38 minutes. This made her Oscar nomination even more stunning. The film's most powerful scene, her collapse after a medical emergency, was shot in 1 take. Tears were real. She said she wasn't acting then. She mourned. Both her career and love life were booming. Dylan McDermott proposed around the same time. On November 28, 1988, they met during Steel Magnolia's first table read. "You have the most lovely eyes I've ever seen," he wrote her. 19 days later, he proposed at the Russian Tea Room in New York with his grandmother's emerald ring. They paid $1,800 a month for a modest West Village apartment. Their neighbors perceived them as a typical couple. Julia bought groceries. Dylan walked the 3-legged rescue dog, but their bond went deeper. McDermott called the director to save Roberts from being cut from Pretty Woman. Fame is costly. Roberts' private lives vanished as they gained fame. On March 12, 1990, 2 weeks before Pretty Woman premiered, she canceled their June wedding. A tabloid offered their doorman $25,000 to enter their apartment. That was the last straw. She understood she couldn't have a normal life and superstardom. Ironically, Pretty Woman almost didn't have her earlier. Vivian was first offered to 7 actresses. Michelle Pfeiffer declined on February 7, 1989. March saw Molly Ringwald die. Meg Ryan declined after reading the screenplay. Daryl Hannah found it glamorizing prostitution. Jennifer. The character wasn't deep enough for Jason Lee. Too busy. Valeria Golino. Karen Allen disliked age differences. Finally, Roberts auditioned April 3rd. Director Gary Marshall liked her. He referred to her radiant vulnerability. Even then, Richard Gere wasn't interested. They met at Gere's apartment by Marshall. He received a post-it from Roberts. "Please accept." Everything changed then. Their initial chemistry prompted Gere to join the picture. It became a legendary film pairing. However, Roberts wasn't given star pay. Her Pretty Woman salary was $300,000. That cost $273 per day after taxes and agent costs. The hotel cost her $75 per night. Gere received $5 million and a profit share, totaling $12 million. Huge success for the film. It grossed $11.3 million in its opening weekend on March 23, 1990, more than 37 times her salary. The 16-week run grossed $463.4 million globally. Her crimson opera dress was trendy, causing $30 million in counterfeit sales. The VHS sold 2.8 million copies at about $90 each. Even Rodeo Drive tourism rose 27%. Roberts saw little of that money. Disney executives got bonuses. She learned. In 1993, she charged $10 million for the Pelican Brief. In 2000, she became the first woman to earn $20 million for Erin Brockovich, revolutionizing Hollywood pay forever. Not everything was right in her personal life. Roberts fell in love with Kiefer Sutherland after Dylan McDermott. Filming Flatliners brought them together. In August 1990, they were engaged and preparing a huge June 14, 1991 wedding. Roberts bought an $8,000 outfit and $425 Manolo Blahniks. A Hollywood fairy tale was planned, but the fairy tale collapsed. Amanda Rice, a 24-year-old exotic dancer, told the London Sun she was with Sutherland in May 1991. She said he left Roberts and settled in a hotel. She said he called Roberts an insecure ice princess. She later claimed it was platonic, but damage was done. Soon later, Roberts was hospitalized for the illness. People wondered if it was the illness or stress. The hospital kept her for 5 days. She still wore her engagement ring. It seems the wedding might happen. The last twist followed. Roberts called off the wedding 3 days prior. Her words didn't reach Sutherland. Somebody told him. She was with Sutherland's best buddy Jason Patric as he moved out of their Beverly Hills house. Roberts flew to Ireland with Patrick on their wedding day. The media burst. The runaway bride was her nickname before she played one. Later, she said she had wanted to end things nicely, but Sutherland called first and was rude. Years later, Sutherland claimed he respected her guts to leave. 2 years after that public debacle, Roberts married country singer Lyle Lovett. The brief 1993 to 1995 marriage astonished everyone, like a reaction to everything before. After escaping one wedding, she rushed into another. Roberts discovered reality. Her 2002 husband was cinematographer Danny Motter. They've been together over 20 years. They have 3 children, 2004 twins, Hazel and Phineas, and 2007 son Henry. After all the turmoil, heartbreak, and public chaos, she found tranquility, something she never enjoyed as the world's most famous woman. I Love Trouble, a 1994 romantic comedy, was designed to be lighthearted. It became a behind-the-scenes disaster. The reason? Nick Nolte hated Julia Roberts. Not just typical tension, a full-scale conflict. From the start, things went awry. The moment they met, they fought, not simply arguing. They avoided each other so much that they used stand-ins for most scenes. Julia stated in a New York Times interview that they bothered each other. Her addition startled everyone. Nolte was nice, yet filthy, and seemed to try to turn people off. That was cruel, Nolte replied. He said in the Los Angeles Times that calling someone repulsive isn't nice, but Julia isn't kind. Everyone knows. The film failed. Audiences and critics disliked it. Julia didn't let the quarrel or the flop stop her, even if the off-screen drama was more remembered than the film. Her 1997 film, My Best Friend's Wedding, marked her return. The movie was a blockbuster. Topping $21 million in its first weekend, it grossed nearly $300 million worldwide on a $38 million budget. The twist? Audiences enjoyed that her character didn't get him. A real difference. The film was one of the year's top 10 hits, with a 73% Rotten Tomatoes rating. It proved Julia Roberts' stardom. 1999 followed. She dominated that year rather than just proving herself. In May, she starred in Notting Hill with Hugh Grant. The film grossed $364 million worldwide, making it the highest-grossing British film. She reconnected with Richard Gere for Runaway Bride 10 weeks later. It was one of the biggest romantic comedy openings ever at $35 million. It grossed about $309 million worldwide. The critics weren't impressed, but the public didn't care. It was great seeing Roberts and Gere again. That year, Roberts made history. Erin Brockovich became the first Hollywood woman to receive $20 million for a film. Big male stars like Tom Cruise and Mel Gibson had crossed the boundary before. Roberts didn't simply get paid well, she risked it. Role was serious. She played a single mom who brought down a major energy firm. The departure from romantic comedies was bold. Gamble paid off. The picture grossed over $200 million worldwide and altered everything. The Academy awarded Roberts Best Actress. She won gold in her third nomination. She received a Golden Globe, BAFTA, and SAG award. A complete sweep. She joked during her Oscar speech about taking her time. She deserved it. Her momentum continued. Roberts' films grossed over $3.9 billion worldwide by 2001. She did it without superhero flicks or major franchises. She avoided franchises except Ocean's 11. She continued to hit on her own. Julia Roberts married Danny Moder in July 2002. She was 35, in love, and just won an Oscar for Erin Brockovich. Something felt odd after weeks. She was always exhausted. Her skin had random black and blue marks. Danny noticed. He insisted she consult a doctor. Tests followed. The result rocked her world. Her doctors diagnosed her with ITP rare blood disorder. Only 3.3 adults per 100,000 get it. The disease causes dangerously low platelet counts, preventing blood clotting. Julia found it terrifying and heartbreaking.